Afternoon. We are called the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners to order. We'd like to have the invocation by Commissioner Fairclough, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's all stand while we honor God and country. Gracious Heavenly Father, once again we gather together to do the business of our county. We ask that your blessings be upon each commissioner here, and that each person here who has business with the county goes away satisfied that we've made the best decisions. And for those listening, we pray the same thing. We ask that you be with all our service members and our first responders, especially those who look after us every day and keep us out of harm's way. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
You want me to pledge? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, let me take this opportunity to welcome everybody to our evening Board of Commissioners meeting. I see City Council, Ms. Jensen, Kathy Jensen here. Thank you for coming to our meeting. Don't get a little deja vu, you know, since we're not having the City Council tonight. I would like to recognize, and if they will stand up as I call their name, we each meeting in the afternoon, we bring our Fayetteville Cumberland County Youth Council to our meeting, and tonight we've got Josh Previs from Cross Creek Early College. Josh, if you stand up. We've got all the Joshes tonight. We got Josh Jensen, who is a student at Pine Forest Senior High School. And Mr. Louis Ortiz, who is at Fayetteville Technical Community College. They will be here and they will monitor our meeting, and at the end, they will kind of critique us a little bit, I guess, ladies and gentlemen, as to their night with us. Thank you all so very much for coming. It is a night of recognition, and so I'm going to step down because I think this is a truly a momentous occasion. And I'll step right down here if I can. You know, whether you believe it or not, years and years ago when I was in high school, I played sports also. And when you were in high school, the one thing that you always wanted to do was to win a state championship. Didn't have the luxury of doing that, but tonight I do have the honor of recognizing two young ladies who did win state championship. Miss Janae Hall, if you come up. And Janae is a senior at Southview Senior High School, where she's in the International Baccalaureate program, an active member of the National Honor Society, the Academy of Scholars, and I didn't even know you could do that, but she's got a GPA of 5.03. I didn't know you could do that when I was there. She's been doing cross-country and track since her freshman year. She was all-conference and all-4A East region in cross-country during her sophomore, junior, and season campaigns. And she just recently won the state 4A championship in the 1,000 meter. Was it 1,000 meter? There you go. But she's also had all region, all state, all county. She runs out of Southview High School. She's coached by Jesse Autry and Dr. Andre Hall. Her parents are Dr. Andre Hall and Attorney Beth Hall. And y'all can come forward. Stand up here with her. Like I said, it's not every day. And a grandmother. She can stand up too. Oh, this is your state 4A championship. And I think that
Thank you so much for what you're doing and going to do. See you.
And see, when you stand up sometimes you just forget, because Janae has also received a track scholarship to North Carolina State University, and that's where I went to school, so I'm not gonna let that. We need some good news out here. Then I'd call Jay Jordan to Jade up to the front. Jay came to Pine Forest. I guess you got all the Pine Forest people. Came to Pine Forest as a freshman, eager to perform well in track and field. She worked hard. She's been active in athletics, honors, and volunteer services throughout her high school. She is in honors chorus, honors drama. She's a member of the Diamond Butterfly, which supports at-risk teenagers, breast cancer awareness, and local community. Now, this goes all the way back to the 9th grade when she won the 300 meters at the East Regional. She finished second that year in the long jump. In the 10th grade year, she won the Mid-South Conference track and field championships in long jump. And then in 11th grade, she won the Mid-South, the State 4A East Regional, and she was a State 4A championship in the long jump with a jump of 7.25 in her junior year. And then she came back in her senior year, which is why we're standing up here now. She worked hard and decided to do indoor track alone while playing basketball. Boy, she was doing it all. And she finished first in the indoor state track meet where she jumped 18 feet 4 inches. Mr. Keefe hadn't jumped that far since, quite a while.
I'll challenge you any day, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I thought you meant high.
The additional accomplishment, she was the track most valuable player 2014 and 2016 in all conference, and soccer most valuable player 2015 and 2016. What an athlete. Jay has the support of both of her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jordan, and Jay's aunt, Mr. Lenora McQuillan. If they're here, y'all come right on up. And she has a coaching staff of Ms. Sharon Hugger, head coach, and Nita Brown, assistant coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Jordan.
Thank you so much. Can't get up here long. No, I'm looking. Wait a minute. Okay, here we are.
We got it.
You got it knocked.
One way or the other.
Somebody
All
else.
right.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
And because I know it's tomorrow's a school night, they do not have to stay. You would be polite. I know you all stay for the whole meeting, but you do not have to stay. But I think it's important that we recognize those students that are achieving in our community. If you go on TV or you look in the newspaper, you hear the negative news. But there's a lot of good things happening in Cumberland County and the city of Fayetteville. And if we forever stop doing this, then we're not doing what we ought to be doing as an elected body. So thank you, ladies, for allowing us to have the opportunity to celebrate you. All of you all that's here, come back next month. I tell you, we got all kind of stuff going on. We've got some more state champions coming next month at our next month's meeting. So thank you all so very much. And with that, we will go to our public comment period. I'd call on our county manager, Ms. Cannon, to read the public comment policy.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, we would ask each citizen as they come forward to state their name and their address and to limit their comments to 3 minutes each. It should be relevant to subject matter that's non-personnel, non-budgetary, and be courteous in their remarks.
Thank you. And with that, I will ask the clerk whether there are any public comment speakers.
We have 2 speakers. Our first speaker is Mr. Charles Matthews.
Mr. Matthews.
To the chairman and distinguished members of the county commissioners, I want to thank you for hearing me tonight. I would like to thank the county manager, Amy Cannon, the county assistant manager, Tracy Jackson, and the county director of engineers, Jeffrey Brown, for going on a road trip with me. We had a very good outing. We looked at some of the possible solution to the flooding of Big Cross Creek. I do understand the flooding of Big Cross Creek is not your responsibility, but sometimes it becomes your problem. Hurricane Hugo, Hurricane Fran, and Hurricane Matthew. And I'm sure you want to know the solution. It is to control the flow of water in Big Cross Creek. And the only way to control the flow of water in Big Cross Creek is to place a dam across it. Prior to Hurricane Hugo, it was dammed at Rosie Lake. So if you can get PwC to replace the dam on Rosie Lake that they breached, Rosie Lake would then become a reservoir again. Then we could control the flow of water into Big Cross Creek and stop some of the flooding. Some of the geese will also come back to their homes at Rosie Lake. One might say there's some wetlands in Rosie Lake, but we know the needs of the people come first. Example, Commissioner Fairclough and I worked on the City Planning Commission together. And while planning the outer loop, we ran into some wetlands. But the greater needs of the people came first. I asked of you in your next joint meeting with the City Council to please talk about this problem. Hopefully, we can stop some of the flooding and maybe your library won't get flooded out again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews.
Very welcome.
Our second and last speaker is Mr. Jerry Reinhold.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Jerry Reinhold, 516 Deer Path Drive, Fayetteville, North Carolina. I come before you this evening to discuss my concerns with the possible forced annexation of Shaw Heights into the city of Fayetteville. May 18, 2016, Fayetteville Observer Our View column mentioned that Senator Meredith had commented that the City, County, and Public Works Commission should draw a redevelopment plan to address the Shaw Heights area annexation. Almost 1 year has passed with no plan that the public has seen or been provided opportunities to comment on. Last week, members of the Cumberland County Legislative Delegation filed bills in the North Carolina House and Senate for the annexation of the Shaw Heights area into Fayetteville. I've researched the archives of the Fayetteville Observer and could not find a single item by a Shaw Heights resident requesting annexation into the city of Fayetteville. There are 505 registered voters in the annexation area, yet they will not have and have not been given the opportunity to vote on their future. If enacted, they become our neighbors in Fayetteville the end of 2018. That safely protects all the politicians at city, county, and state level who voted for the annexation from ballot box repudiation of their action. Those property owners not already connected to PWC sewers are in for a big shock when the $5,000 sewer assessment letters arrive. Combine that with a higher combined city and county property tax rate, and Shaw Heights residents may not want to become part of Fayetteville. Big Bang was a big flop, and our neighbors in Shaw Heights are entitled to know what is in store for them as new Fayetteville residents. Recommend that any legislative action be deferred until after citizens and taxpayers have seen and approved a detailed annexation plan. Our neighbors have the right to have a voice in their future. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
There are no further speakers.
I will ask for an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second as to the approval of the agenda. I would ask that one of the things that I would like to do, and I just heard the speaker, and I did hear the speaker do that. I would like to add to the consent agenda, if I could, the resolution in support of the delegation of the annexation of Shaw Heights into the city of Fayetteville. If you would accept that as,
Okay.
so we would add that to the consent agenda. Mr. Keefe?
Hey, is there a resolution out? Do we have one?
We'll draft up the resolution.
So what are we going to be voting on?
A support of the annexation, of the delegation's annexation of Shaw Heights into the city.
It seems like a little premature to vote on a resolution prior to seeing a resolution. Or if we're just endorsing the idea of annexation.
At this point, then bring the.
If that's the motion, then
yes,
that would be
and
fine.
then
But
bring the proclamation back after that, yes.
yes,
Okay.
That was my understanding.
That was my, yeah, that was,
Okay.
Mr. Keith's been out a little bit. He missed the last meeting. I'm a little slow sometimes. I worded it a little bit wrong. The endorsement of, and I do thank you for that correction.
Okay.
Are there any objection to that?
So it's the endorsement of the current action
Yes.
in support of, a show of support?
Right.
Okay.
And we add that to the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Unanimous.
At this time, we had on our consent agenda the approval of the proclamation proclaiming March 27th as American Red Cross Month in Cumberland County. This is a special month for the American Red Cross, and I will call on Commissioner Booth as to the proclamation for the American Red Cross.
They're always there on the spot. Didn't you call it? All right, first of all.
Mike, could you pull that microphone towards you?
First of all, we're going to need to have them, they're always on standby anyway, but especially now that we've heard the Keith Adams long jumping challenge, we will definitely need to have we'll need to have the Red Cross nearby. One thing, what, the
When
reason
Jimmy's
you don't hear
crying,
a lot
right?
about
Okay.
the Red Cross
I was thinking Blue Cross.
is they're not, yeah, they're not a government agency. They rely on personal donations, personal money, contributions from anybody that will cut a check, and blood, literally blood, to do their work. So you don't see them in the news, you don't see them lobbying, you don't see them, picketing anywhere. They're just there to help out every chance they get. With the United States poised to enter World War I, a group of concerned citizens met here in downtown Fayetteville on April 26, 1917, and started the local chapter of the American Red Cross. Their goal was to assist those impacted by disasters and help both active duty military and veterans. Here it is now in 2017, and the Red Cross is celebrating its centennial, and salute all of their local members as heroes that have helped in the past and continue to help in the future. Volunteers comprise 95% of their workforce. In the Sand Hills area only, that resulted in 53,000 plus hours of volunteer time. Volunteer time, free. No pay, no benefits, no wages. And probably on top of that, while they were working on their way home, they asked them to give a pint of blood. So it's day to day. They cover, on average, a family home fire every day. They also have volunteers provide shelter, food, and emotional support to those affected by local disasters and also national disasters like we received in Hurricane Matthew. They provide 24-hour support to members of the military, veterans, and their families here in the Fayetteville, Fort Bragg area and around the world. Red Cross volunteers are active on Fort Bragg, Womack Medical Center, the Warrior Transition Battalion, and the VA Medical Center. In fact, some of the fondest memories my mom and dad had were they both volunteered at the Womack Army Center. My dad was in charge of the golf carts, taking everybody to and from all their cars and their appointments out there. And my mom was one of the little, I guess, candy stripers kind of type things. She was in charge of the little volunteer nurse squad. The Red Cross collects 40% of the nation's blood supply, and it must collect nearly 14,000 donations of blood every day. 14,000 blood every day. Each donation of blood, though, could save up to 3 lives. So anytime you can get a 3-time return on your money, well, ask Ralph Huff about that. Anytime you can spend $1 and make 3, I guarantee you, he'll be right in the middle of it. So it's the same thing of if you donate a pint of blood, you're going to possibly save up to 3 lives. They train millions of people in first aid, water safety, and other life-saving skills. They have a free phone app which will give you tips and lessons on first aid, tornado, hurricane, and even pet first aid. The Red Cross supports the vaccination of children around the globe against measles and rubella. They've provided 1.1 billion free vaccines since 2001. Whether they're down the street, around the country, or right here around the world, the Red Cross is there, people helping people for free, donating their time, their blood, and their money. What can you do to help during this time and also at all other times throughout the year? Well, donate your time. That's free. Everybody has some. Donate your money. If you don't have the money, go by there and roll up your sleeve and give a pint of blood. They'll be glad to see you, and after they give you the little cookie and the orange juice, then they'll have you do a little free volunteer work around getting the next guy ready. So, first of all, they'd also like to urge, make sure you have a home preparedness plan for emergencies. And don't just wait. Test them with your kids now. Have the little thing. Push your little your smoke alarm. 1, it tests the batteries to see if they're working. And 2, make your kids, that if they hear that, they don't just like put the TV on mute for a minute or, you know, put their phone on pause, but they actually have to go to the gathering spot, the safe spot outside your residence. And like I said, that'll be something you can't practice at the time that it actually happens. So learn a life-saving skill from the Red Cross. They're also free. Lifeguarding, CPR, child-proofing your home, anything you want to help out as far as giving some time and your efforts, they'd appreciate it. Now, there's a whole lot of heretofores and whereases, and Glenn and I say an awful lot of those in our day-to-day practice. So I'm going to skip those and get to the bottom, say thank you very much. And now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims March 2017 as American Red Cross Month in Cumberland County, encourages all citizens to join in this observance, and it's signed by the challenger, Glenn B. Adams, Chairman, Cumberland County Board of Commissioners, current long jumping champion.
Of this board.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like you said, people think of me as the blood guy, and I'm the blood guy, but and people think of us as disaster, and we responded to Hurricane Matthew, and I can't give a big enough shout out to the county and all their staff. But we have a home fire every night in our community. We had 155 families in Fayetteville and Cumberland County last year, and that's the biggest disaster in their life, and that's what our volunteers respond to. Our March is Red Cross Month. We recognize our volunteers. We'll be out in the community doing hands-only CPR. We'll do our pillowcase project, which talks about disaster preparedness. We'll do our Scrubby Bear, which is about hand washing, about preventing flu and sickness. So we're a lot more than blood. We're a lot more than what you see, and it's all because of our volunteers. And we can't thank them enough during this month. This is our 100th year, and like any good company in Fayetteville and Cumberland County, we're here for the long haul, and we're excited to be here. And thank you for all your support over the years.
Yeah, Phil, you gotta come this way.
This one. I thought it was just the
Athlete.
athletes, yeah.
you are.
We're sitting on the challenge too.
We recognize all.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for all your support. Forgot Marshall kicked us off with our smoke alarm installation project last year. We're on our way to 1 million smoke alarms nationwide, so thank you for that, Marshall.
What an important organization in our community, and thank you, Phil, for all you do for Cumberland County. We will now go to our